Happy Thursday, everyone. Let's go ahead and get some chats and some sprints together talking about focusing on the editor-like end of things, shall we? Welcome on into the edit shift, everybody. It's good to see you. My name is Jenna O'Malley. Welcome in, welcome in. We're going to go ahead and have a little bit of a chat first and foremost. I've got kind of a PowerPoint to keep us on topic while we chat, and then we're going to do a couple of sprints at the end. Welcome in, everyone. It's so good to see all of you. So let me get my screen switched, shall we? We shall. So with building your editing and similar services, you're going to want to consider a couple of key things, my friends. And I do apologize if I have any tech gremlins. I just got signaled that I have a low signal, so I apologize if the tech gremlins flicker for a moment. Our agenda for this evening, before we get into a couple of sprints, when you're offering services as an editor, a beta reader, a proofreader, a sensitivity reader, what are some things should you consider as the basics of building that line of service in your business? First and foremost, if you do have any questions as we go along the way, put them in the comment box, or if you have any comments, don't be hesitant to share, my friends. So what genres, which people, what pricing, and where do I find potential clients are all good places to start. We won't be doing a deep dive. We're just going to skim the surface on these items, my friends. So what genres? You have a plethora of choices. Some of you probably already know that you want to edit, beta read, sensitivity read, similar stuff that you yourself already probably read. You're familiar with it. You know what to expect within its parameters, but also maybe plus or minus what you read and write applies, okay? Now, also within that major genres of focus, consider subgenres, cross-genre things you can do, or even what tropes and topics you do want to do. Some of you are probably looking in the bottom corner going, why does it say avoid? Maybe there's something that you know that you're not the greatest at doing. That's okay. That's okay. On the other hand, maybe there's a topic you just will not edit. For example, say there's a specific heavy topic and you tend to do darker stuff, either nonfiction or fiction. You might want to know where you're comfortable pushing your own comfort zones as far as what you can handle for your own mental health. In my opinion, and this has been the case all the way back when I was editing back in early days of being a teacher as my part-time job for educational outlets. If it drains your soul, maybe it's not the content for you. It's okay to take a break on certain genres. Now, right now, I'm lucky that I have enough people doing not quite the same stuff to where I'm not burning out on topics or things. So definitely make sure you're setting yourself up for success when it comes to that. And again, if you have any comments or questions, my friends, go ahead and put them in the box. So ultimately, you're going to start getting into when you consider what genres you want to work with as a book service provider for editing and similar. You're also going to want to consider the people making the stuff product-wise that you're going to be looking at, okay? Genders, backgrounds, experiences apply, especially if you're being a sensitivity reader. Yes, as a sensitivity reader, in my opinion, you should get paid. You are paying attention to stuff almost as if a consultant would be called in on something for a TV item. You should be paid as a consultant in that regard, in my opinion. Stacy's here. Good evening. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. Also, of course, you can start deciding, do I want to be working with people who are trad, hybrid, indie, or more? Now, I tend to work these days with a lot of hybrid and indie when I edit. I started in trad. You can pick up skills by working under other editors as a junior editor. for example. And there are some indie publishing houses that offer these kind of trainings. And there's other entities to get those trainings on. We'll talk about those here in a moment, my friend. I apologize, and I'm a little coughy and sneezy. Also consider your age range and interest groups. Now, it just so happens that my early to late 30s neurodivergent spicy self in that regard tends to work with a lot of women and similar persuasions of mindset that tend to be my age and older. And most of us have gone through some neurodivergent, spicy life stuff. I wonder why that's the person I resonate with. When I was teaching in public education as a high school English teacher, as one of my former students said, you always get the kids that don't want to be here. Why? Because you want to be here to my class, don't you? Apparently, it kind of carries over. Those kids have a lot in common with my current clientele if I were to catch up with them in their 20s, I bet. There's a lot of similarities and overlap. So look at people you already socialize with. Who's in your immediate group? As a mentor of mine often says, you're probably coaching other people and helping other people and not getting paid for it in return. Why not learn to make a little extra on a skill you're good at while also honing that skill? Can apply. So therefore, what pricing? Know your worth, especially if you have specialized training. Where can you get specialized training? College is not the only option, but I can vouch as someone who has a degree in English and linguistics that there are colleges who do teach classes on such things. I just took a renewal refresher course through a local college to me that was a free thing they were doing for licensed teachers as like a how people edit and how to use that to teach their classroom how to edit. And they taught us actually how to edit stuff. So I got a refresher on both ends, right? This is where it is also important as someone who takes continuing education courses where I must insist you should continue your education as you invest into your business. You should also reinvest into your professional development in that way, shape, and form. Compare yourself to other editors also and beta readers, sensitivity readers in your market to see what your market value is. You're not looking at necessarily they're more worthy, they're more valuable than me. I do believe that is a difficult lesson to learn. And once you learn it, you never go back to it, in my opinion. But you want to see kind of what everyone in the market is charging. Something I hear often from fellow editors is their dislike for when other people underprice their rates because it becomes an outlier statistically, and they believe it can bring down the overall value for the industry. Some people believe that's an older school kind of gatekeeping mechanism. Whatever side of the divide you land on is where you land on. However, if you're wondering, is there usually in the freelancing world a general agreed upon what should my rates be? Check out the EFA. This is the Editorial Freelancers Association, another good place to connect with editing community, find clients, and also get some education there. But they also do have a calculator where you can, based off of recent updates to rates, figure out what your rate should be in these realms. And this is often where I will check against myself. So if you see my prices raise, you might want to check here and see that means the overall average there probably also raised. Now, if you have years of experience in editing, beta reading, sensitivity reading, give yourself the top end. Or if you're like me and you know that your chosen client you prefer to work with can't afford that, where do you want to land on the continuum accordingly? And that's been the most common reference that I have seen people go to as other editors and similar is the EFA's rating guide. So definitely feel welcome to check that out. And then, of course, where do I find potential clients? As I mentioned, join an organization like EFA. Readsy has a program. Fictionary has a program. I am sure if you partnered up with other indie bookstores and get the word out, they might help you with word of mouth. I've gotten some clients that way. Thank you for the people who run Second and Charles. You might also get some people from your local library. Definitely reach out to them. Online, there's also Facebook groups and Instagram posts with other editors and authors and writers, of course, looking for editors, beta readers, sensitivity readers, and more to work with. Ultimately, believe it or not, in this world, because of social media, word of mouth and getting testimonials fast and affiliation by giving a little back to your clients who bring you a lot of clients goes a long way. That's an old technique that almost works in every line of business universally. Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get ourselves into a little bit of a sprint, my friends. I would like to try and do something like this a little bit each week. Maybe when we hang out, we'll go that way and get together and then follow it up with a sprint or two. So if you have any questions while you're working, if you're editing, if you're drafting, if you're on any part of birthing the book that is within inside of you, now's a good time for us to hang out, get some work done, and get some timers going. I'm going to give us, how about 30 minutes, my friend? How about 30 minutes? See y'all in a bit. everybody. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into a little bit of chat. How's it going? I'm bouncing around doing various things. There was some editing, but there's also some straggler tasks I need to get done for con this weekend. How about all of you? Let's see. There's the link to the EFA rates page if you want to go ahead and double check whether or not you or the editor you're looking at hiring are using market value equivalent rating for their services involved. Gab, hello, or is it Gabe? Let me double check there. Glad to have you here, drafting your first draft. Any new tips for an author trying to edit their own book? Yes, I have a whole workshop on this, my friend. It's called editing, self-editing armors. What it does is it looks at what you can add, remove, relocate, modify, or save for another time, but also it's going to entice you to look out what you can outsource to beta readers and more. Other than that, the other thing I'm going to entice you to do is if it's a shorter work of fiction, read it in reverse paragraph order, because backwards planning is a thing. Your plot should look kind of copacetic in backward motion, but also you're tricking your brain into seeing what is actually on the page. Whenever we read the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again, our brain is eventually going to see and or hear what they want to see and or hear, not what is actually there. So if you've gone through your draft a couple times, you might have to twist the angle at which your brain looks at it, so to say. Rachel, thank you so much for the stream hopping support there, my friend. Rachel's also co-hosting at the moment, and I went ahead and shared some links to the Authortube playlist of sprints and the BookTube playlist of sprints. I'm also going to go ahead in the chat and share the link directly to Rachel, who's probably getting ready to go into a replay mode here in the future. Mama Maggie, good to see you. How are you doing? Mama Maggie and I are going to be probably taking July off from our mythology and more research lab. She and I got a lot of travel going on that month. So I think we're going to meet up again in August. Glad to have you here though, Mama Maggie. So good to see you. Let's see. So there's the Authortube link, there's the BookTube link, and this one would take you to Rachel. Mama Maggie will change the ink color and font on the digital copy. Oh, that actually helps too for some people. Yes. Even just like sometimes I'll change it to like a dark red or a dark like blue purple. Even just that slight change away from actually black. It tricks the brain a little bit. Kind of like if you imagine those old games where it asks you to say the name of the color you see, not the name of the color spelled. For example, they might spell the word orange, but they write it in blue. They don't want you to associate to the word blue. They want you to associate to the word orange or vice versa. Definitely what you're doing is working on that in the brain, especially if you go edit with print. Or if you prefer to be digital, my favoriteest thing ever for doing novels, I got myself a tablet. If you have any kind of device that you can use a stylus with, this has saved my brain so much because I can whip out the pen and go old school if I want to. It feels like it takes a little bit longer, but for clients, that's been a huge help for me too, and for myself, because some of us are kinetic learners, so we need to have that physical touch, and that kinetic stored energy, whatnot, transfers into actual use from potential buildup. The middle is having surgery. I hope everything goes great and it is a seamless, perfect heal from the situation, deservedly so, because I would like to go hang out and visit and stuffs with you all later. All the hugs. Speaking of visiting, if you want to meet myself and Rachel, we are going to be hanging out with a couple other Authortubers at the Right Women Book Fest in Bowie, Maryland in July. It's one of the reasons why I will have some travel next month. So I'll go ahead and drop a link to that if you want to check it out. And let's get into some sprints. Oh, that one, Jenna. Well, whichever. Another sprint. See you in 30. chat to everybody. Let's go ahead and get into another little bit of a break. I did go ahead and add a poll there into the chat. I think I see a trend going on. We'll put it that way. So I went ahead and did some like edits of social media copy stuff for the weekend, and then went ahead and also did some packing. I need to do some of what some of you in chat are talking about as well. So let's go ahead and check in with chat. I went ahead, since we were talking about in the last chat the topic of self-editing, went ahead and gave you some more resources. Mama Maggie recently did a creating printed editing proofs how-to. Check that out. And I went and dug out from like a year or more ago the Bust Your Brain Defaults When Editing workshop that I did away like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Have fun, check out. Rachel, hi-yo, about to feed all the JoJo's. Disappointed. Did stream go longer and she have to wait like an old lady? Because she's the best puppers. Editing the banner for the newsletter. Love it. Gwen, writing while you wait for the oven timer to go off. Hey, not a bad time. Not a bad time. Glad to have you here in. Glad you're doing great. Hey, not a bad reason to take off the day tomorrow to catch up on some you things and some writing things, I'd imagine. Con, yes indeed. If you missed it during the last one, Rachel is referring to, I imagine, the Right Women Book Fest in part to the conversation. It's going to be a blast. Miranda, hello. Just got home. One of the elementary school teachers retired after teaching at the same school. Oh, so I imagine your children and children you have worked with as a like babysitting situation. Did they all have that same teacher then? Oh, many blessings upon for that many years of service, and thanks and gratitude to them for making young minds do well. Gwen, BRB, enjoy the food, my friend. Rachel's thinking of a logo, a small line about what you're about, and then your main genres in bold, or some book covers for the newsletter banner. My feedback on this is double check what your dimensions are depending on your platform. When I moved from what is now Kit, I was back with it a couple years ago when it was still ConvertKit. I know that the banner I had there would not work over on Substack because Substack was smaller. So double check your platform dimensions and use any negative space accordingly to the size. And you are quite welcome, my friend. Thank you for all you do to help so many. Mama Maggie, that was a good video. Oh, thank you. You are too, Mama. You are too. Hope that we'll be in the coast that week. That'll be a... So is this a hint that Rachel, do you know something I don't know about Mama Maggie possibly trying to sneak in to see us that weekend? Are you plotting stuff behind my back? Because this would be fun. Like, seriously, if we could add you into the mix of that weekend, even if it's just for a quick hi, hello vlog thing. Oh, yes. I need to come and see you anyway. I owe you a visit because you sent your middle to visit me. Stacy, got dinner and the bellies of the fam are sup and supped. Well done, well done. Carol 508, well done, my friend. Yeah, YouTube is hip hopping for, that's fine. That's fine. And that does what it needs to do. Miranda, the video was so good. Every time I find something to fix with missing periods or quotes and find doubles. This is me. This is me. Every time I reread something I've read 1,000 times that I've written, I always find something. And then you moved here when your kids were grades 8 and 10. So this would be for children whom you serve as part of your babysitting then, question mark? Ah, these kids, yes, very much so. Not sure, but it would be hecka fun. Yes! It's the 9th and the 10th. And the con... At least you have a date now, because I believe the last time we spoke, Mama Maggie, it was a ish, not a solidified date, question mark. Like you knew it was going to be first half of the month versus second half, but you didn't know when on the first half, which is about the first half. And I hope everything goes well and the middle child gets what they need. Stacy, if we're having 2 more sprints, I may take a shower. So double check, since you said that. Yes, the popular vote is go take a shower. I am the person that believes I do some of my best brainstorming, either when I'm singing in the car and driving by myself, which I used to commute 1.5 hours to go teach. That was a one-way drive. It was 3 hours round trip. So you can understand why brainstorming in the car is a thing, but this is my other favorite place. So if you need a shower, go get a shower. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more sprints. Yes, 3,000%. 3,000%, all the best. So with that being said, see you all here for a third one, everybody. I need to correct the timer. Scroll, save, scroll. See you in 30. Tech gremlin. All right, everybody, let's go ahead. And if you have any questions while we're chatting away, mark them with the Q so we can go ahead and get them at the end of this chat break. Otherwise, let's check in. I am getting my slideshows for this weekend's presentations for the con ironed out, almost done. How about you? Let's see. Stacy, how'd the shower go? Might not be back, but that's okay. How many more sprints? We have one more after this, everybody. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, Jody Jean Daniels for Heart Breathings will kick off, and we'll get you over there with a little bit of a break in between. I think indeed, my friend. Rachel got the Mage's Dragon cover data. Woo, woo. And this cover is gorgeous. Why couldn't the last two be like this? Is it from the same artist, question mark, or a different artist? Because, yeah, I remember that. What? She even. Oh, nice. Okay, now I want to see this cover. Still working with your other cover artist. Gotcha. See, that's what I was wondering. How was that situation going for you? I hope it's getting better. I hope it goes great. Gwen's back. Yay for new covers, indeed. Kara, honestly, brief nap was enjoyed and well-earned and deserved. I'm sure. I'm glad you got one. Miranda swears the tech gremlins ran through this document you had voiced. The D doesn't even... Oh, no! At least you're catching them, though. See, this has happened to me on occasion where it'll, like, mishear an an as an and or a that as a to for random reasons. I've noticed the program I was using do that. Kara, going to be watching the AutoCrit workshop. Yes, on creating your own adventure book at 5. But, so it's 7 p.m. Eastern here. What time zone are you in, my friend? Thank you for letting this stream keep running, because I'm going to go grab that link, I think, if I can find it for anybody. Rachel, from the artist she had originally. Oh, no. So unfortunately, we had to part ways, but that doesn't mean I can't be in love with some of her previous work. Exactly. Stacy got the shower, and then you had a lot to do. There you go, with the mapping out. Not a bad choice at all, and I'm glad you were able to get some relaxation in. So as far as, let me run down some schedules here for us while we have a moment to do so. Jody Jean Daniels is going on for Heart Breathings at 8 p.m. Eastern, if you go with the link I gave you in chat. Also for later over on the Authortube playlist at this moment, looks like Kaufman has a Right Now stream that we're about in the middle of, as well as Ash Writes Lots. They also, have streams if you want to sew some stream hopping. Oh, okay, I got to check messages to see pretty covers. Thank you for sharing, Mama Maggie. Priya Pot. Whoa, nice setting. Love that setting. It's okay. We don't have to always English. It's chat. You've seen my typos in chat. Get real, woman, right? So there would be I believe the link to Right Now, and then the link to Ash Writes Lots if you want to give them some love. Otherwise, I will find my link document. I apparently closed out of my link document. You think I would know better. Okay. Let me also go ahead and find, if you are interested, my friends. Boop, boop, bidoop. I do tell there's an announcement going over on what was formerly the Authortube Anthology ladies. They are now 2 of Crohn's. I hear they have possibly some announcements going on over there. Definitely check it out. Spelling is totally your friend. That's why you're a witchy woo-woo person. It's okay if you have typos, hiccups in your spell. It happens all the time, right? Right. And since we were a little chatty last time, I think I'll go ahead and reclaim the last, 20 seconds or so. We're going to get us started into our 4th sprint, everybody. See you here in 30. If you're stepping out, all the hugs to you. Thanks for hanging with. to everybody. Let's go ahead and make sure we're saving our work at this time. And we are going to go ahead and wrap it up and wind it down. I'm going to go through the chat, though, right quick, because it's some good topicing. So we left off with Mama Maggie. Stacy, I do need help with names. One of the main characters is a 10-year-old boy. You keep thinking Ryan, but you have another character named Ryan. You have a hello, Rita. It's good to see you. Authortube's favorite actress. Chase, Dylan, Aiden, all good and popular choices. Mama Maggie also suggested Dylan or Derek, Rick or Ricky for short. Fair enough. Also, old census data. As Rhiannon was talking in her live streams last night, there's also name generators, and I have been known to use the fantasy name generator a time or two, but this is where I went and got a lot of my data, because then you can get like a popular or a kind of well-known name, but maybe not like saying this as someone who, you know, my legal name, you can imagine what Jenna is short for, was the #1 or #2 female name in the US 14 years in a row. I am very cautious about what I name things and people for this reason. So census data can be helpful in that. Your boy's name was Frederick. Fred or Derek. Nice. You're thinking of going with Tyler for Stacy. I'm writing down other names. Yeah, save those names. Definitely so. I've taught K-12 schools, so I've heard all the new names you can imagine, and some are worth writing down for sure, for sure. Stacy, but it is a good idea to have a nickname or an endearment. Rita, get the party started. Glad to have you here. And you did not miss the chat. You were here in your pace and your time and your stride, Gwen. 541, whoop, whoop. And now you're at the point where you can start blending new writing in the order draft. Get those done, my friend. You're rocking it. Miranda, question. Is it the opened window or open window? So my clarification here from a grammatical standpoint, strictly, would be opened is being used as a verb. So did someone just do the action, or are you simply clarifying a description of the window? Because if that's the case, then you need the adjective version of open. That sounds confusing, but yes, grammar is as grammar does. Hubby will be home for work soon. I hope it goes well, y'all. And need a name for the faction. I have a suggestion here for this. Direction, cardinal direction, geographic location, or animal-like. Got the eats already for Gwen. Rachel, one of the book swap banners done. Woo, woo. And then to post a gaming live. Is that tonight? Because if so, I can go hang out and listen. Or is it for later in the weekend? Stacy, as a raid that family tree, my friend. You're very welcome. Thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me this evening. And above all, take care of yourselves. No stream tomorrow night, but a bonus vlog instead. See you later.